Welcome to a new adventure. So last night I got into James Creek up here at Raystown, and I was really excited about that because they told us that it wasn't open yet, that only Snyder's. And then late last night they did tell us that they had 7 points opened up. I just drove by, the gate was open, so I pulled in. Your boy's kind of an idiot, kind of messed up here. That's my bed and pillow. I forgot my blanket, man. I forgot my instant coffee, guys. I am not happy about that.
He kind of cut the path for me, so I'm going to go ahead and follow him. Honestly, I think this running, it kind of reminds me of running when I have my John boat on the Susquehanna. You kind of have to let the boat haul move the material a little bit. Now, they did good shutting the lake down. It was probably wise. Probably saved a lot of people a lot of money, to tell you the truth. All right, I'm going to keep on bouncing along. Bumping along, more like it. Epic fail, man. Jeez. I just had a really nice one on, man. Rod was, it was a solid fish. I love to record everything I do, right? And I know that it's going to be some frustrations because of that. I could not get this camera turned on, and I'm fighting it, and in the midst of that, the fish came off. I may have lost the fish anyway, but man, that was frustrating. I don't regret trying to turn the camera on because you never know. And I would want you guys to be there for it, but bugger. It's a nice fish. It's a nice fish. So I came back to camp and I set up this little lean-to. It started sprinkling. It started to rain a little bit, so put up that lean-to. I'm feeling kind of worn out. When I get tired, I don't think very clearly, and I can tell because I was out on the water and I wasn't coming up with any good conclusions, So we lost one big fish, and buddy, I tell you what, that fish felt like he was a nice one. I'm a little bummed about that. But for investing all the more time that I put into it, to have a big fish like that on, I'm pretty happy with that.
The grass cutting squad just showed up, so that nap's done. Oh well. They gotta take care of the campground, Here's another thing I forgot. A spoon. How am I gonna eat? Problem solved. There's my spoon. I'm really just glad that my headache's gone, y'all. My head was really pounding. One shad. Let's go fishing. So, I ran this shoreline up along here. If you guys want to check it out, it's opposite of mile marker 14 and 13. It's just the mountain. It's opposite of that, directly to the north. Just a mountain there. You can run up and down the edge of it here until you mark some fish, and then set up on them somehow like this. It doesn't mean they're always here, but they do move through here quite a lot. It's a well-known spot here for catching stripers. So Nancy's is close enough I can get back. My headache is still lingering, so I don't want to go too far. I didn't want to run all the way down, but I just don't have it in me. So I'm going to do it right here, and we'll see how it goes. And I'm getting marks on the screen already. Gotta love that. So this is probably the easiest way to set up. If you're not real familiar with striper fishing, it's just called downlining, and you park and you drop some lines straight down. You can cast them out a little bit, but I'm in 40 feet of water and I see marks, so I know there's some fish here. That's That's got to be number one. If there's no fish there, you're not going to catch them. So find fish first. Don't even think about stopping until you're seeing fish there, and then you can fish for them. But all I have is I got 3 lines out, just 2 on one side over here, and then this one over here. And I just have a sinker and a hook. So you can do this from the kayak as well. So the same setup, and I've done it for my little John boat and caught a few like that. But you know what it reminds me of is Calvin and Hobbes. You remember Calvin's dad used to always go fishing? They'd always have that little aluminum boat, and they'd just be there with a rod out the side just soaking worms, you know. I think the anchor is, it's not even an anchor, it's a weight. I have a laundry detergent jug that I filled with concrete. And that's what I'm using. I kind of want it to drag a little bit as the wind moves, because then I'll move down along this shoreline. Really simple setup. That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to do this for a little bit and hopefully it works out. Wish me luck. I am not feeling very good at all. Got a terrible headache, and this darn light doesn't help much at all either, but just want to get the fire. I'm going to get my little furnace fired up, and I'm going to crash, man. I'm in rough shape right now. Bad headache. So don't expect much out of me here for tonight, and I'll probably try to sleep as much as I can tomorrow. Got plenty of bait, so I'm optimistic I have something that I can work on tomorrow, but I gotta get this going so that I can focus. It probably doesn't seem like much, that little fire, but I tell you what, it lights this, or it warms this place up much more than I need to. It's got 3 settings. I keep it on the lowest setting, and it's downright hot in here. But I'm glad I brought it, because I forgot my sleeping bag and blanket. So I'm going to crash, guys. I'll get with you guys in the morning, unless something happens. Good night.
Good morning. You can see it's daylight. I slept in pretty hard here since I forgot my instant coffee. Forgot a lot of stuff on this trip. I'm out of practice, I guess. All the same, good morning.
Well, I thought I'd take advantage of this early morning. Sun's just coming up over the mountain behind me. It's beautiful out here in Raystown. Fish are still jumping, and everything's coming to life, you know. But I thought I'd take advantage of this little bit of time I had to do a shad video. So folks started asking about it, and I didn't really want to do a shad video because there's so many available, but I also understand that with shad, it's something about it, it's interesting. No matter how many you watch, it's like you still want to watch more. It's so, why not? I'll throw my 2 cents into the mix, and I'm gonna do my best to do the whole thing for you. I might skip a few parts if I think they're repetitive or something like that, but ultimately we're just gonna try to get some shad into the tank, and it'd be, you know, somewhat entertaining, you know. The first thing I do for shad is I always get the tank ready. So I want my tank to be set up to be able to receive the shad. You don't want to throw the shad into a tank that they're immediately going to die in. That's my setup. That is a bilge pump on the bottom, and I have a downrigger ball hanging on the bottom. That's just to weight it down so it pulls it down into the water. So I admit, my system for wiring this is a little hokey. These are the clips that I use for the live well. I just swap them over to my tank. So I have this all kind of mocked up. The electrical in my boat, if you guys have been following me, all you know this is a project boat. Yeah, and it hits my heart, the honest truth. And I didn't think I'd be talking about this when I'm doing shad, but I always try to be transparent. This boat is special to me, as boats often are, but I'll tell you the story of mine here as I'm doing the shad. My father passed away this past year, and you know, he helped me work on this boat. He's gone, it's still here, and my dad, in his passing, actually put that engine on the boat, so I couldn't have afforded to do that without my father. He did that, and anyways, so it's like I feel this, you know, this boat is really special to me. I don't think I'll ever part with it.
I'm wearing my dad's shirt today too, just coincidentally. I like this flannel, it's good and heavy, but it's his. Anyways, let's get back to shad. I'll just flip that on. The bilge pump should start spitting water out here for me. There it goes. So this is all real fresh water from down deep. It's nice and cool. So that's what the shad want. But before I actually start filling this, I'm just gonna wash a lot of this slime off, you know? So I have the drain open, it's draining out the back, but I'm putting fresh water in here to try and flush some of that out. So this is the filter that goes in it. This Creek Bank does a pretty good job on these filters, but you see there's a lot of scales and a lot of muck and stuff on there. So I'm gonna clean those off now too, and I'm just dipping it in the water. So that's the filter, looks a lot better. So I try to get that thing filling up right away because it does take time. So this is my salt. I just keep them in these little containers. They're not watertight, but they're pretty good. And that's Herbalife. Check the link below if you guys don't know. I sell this stuff. It's not salt. When it comes to you, it's actual stuff you can use. Get the Dutch chocolate. Hold on a second. It's my advertising. If you guys use the link down below, this is the flavor to get from Herbalife. You guys know I sell this stuff. This is one of the things I do to supplement my income. So check that out. Dutch chocolate's the one to get. If you've never had Herbalife before, this is the one most people start with because it's so good. All right, so it's filling up really good. I got my salt in here. Just looks like that. It's water conditioning salt. So I'll use half of this to give you an idea. I don't know what that is. It's 2 or 3 cups, just like that. And that's it. That's half of the container. Something like that. And that'll take some time to dissolve. And it's probably going to take about 30 minutes or something for that to fill up. But you can see I got about 5 inches of water in it already. So it's going pretty good. This is the simplest setup that I've ever found that works. And I'm so glad because I had some really good mentoring on this. You got to have a tank of some sort. I mentioned this before. You can build it or you can buy it. But there's different things on YouTube. You guys can check that out. I use a Creek Bank because... What? See, that fish just jumped right there. I think you saw that. Great. Tell me what it was if you can tell in the video. One of the guides here that I really respect pointed me in that direction. And the salt technique from the same fella. The hose technique from the same fella. So what I'm doing here, it's not my information. Okay, I want to give full credit to Colton Dinges. He knows how to keep shad alive. And this is his technique that I'm doing my best to adopt. And it's simple, and it works. Dead shad puts a real damper on your fishing trip. So try these techniques. If they work for you, great. Let Colton know, let me know. We'd love to hear back from you. Your boy is an idiot. I had the drain was open the whole time there. That's why it was filling so slow. It's closed now. We're filling up. So I'll go ahead and get my net ready. This is what I'm using. It's if you look right here, it's an 8-foot and 5/8 mesh right there. And Black Pearl makes these. But I had the 1.65 and it's too heavy. It really is. If you have a pound per foot, I think that's what it is. If you have the 1-pounders, that's probably enough. So if you've never done it before, do like and you guys can talk in the comments about this. I'm recommending to your everyday man, so a 6-foot net instead of an 8. You can do a 7, but I think a 6-foot is better, more manageable, I should say. So a 6-foot, 1 pound per foot, and what do you think? 1/2-inch mesh, probably 1/2-inch mesh. 1/2-inch mesh. What happens with the 5/8 is I have the bait is small enough that it's getting through, especially with the alewives. The alewives get through the mesh, so I think the 1/2-inch mesh is probably the better choice here at Raystown. So the rundown is simple: 6 foot, 1 pound per foot, and then 1/2-inch mesh. So that's it. We got it filled up. I got the aerator pump turned on. The salt is dissolving, so this is going to spin around from the pump. It'll just circulate it, and it'll dissolve that salt up, and it'll be ready for shad. So we're to the point where we need to start looking for the shad. So I essentially have two methods for locating shad. One is just a visual surface. So you scan the surface and see if they're boiling anywhere. If you see them, hitting the surface, you should see some ripples and stuff. And I've been standing out here filling this tank, kind of keeping an eye out while I've been filling it. And to be honest, they're not real active. But that's all right. It's probably good for the tutorial because it's tough to locate shad. If you don't see them visually on the surface, it can sometimes be tough to find them. So we'll just use the down scan. That's all I have. It's the only electronic I have on the boat is down scan. I know. Anyway, so we'll drive around. I'll run some paths. I'm just going to run like lines back and forth where I know that shad are frequently located until I mark a good ball, and then I'll show you that on the down scan. It looks like a shad ball there, but it's kind of weak. So I'm going to keep on. You want something really well defined. That's a little bit sparse. It's a little better, and it's not real heavy in shad though. Small bait ball. Hard to hit. They're small. It's hard to hit them. Yeah, first try. Basically there's two of them. This is a nice size shad. That's a good representative side. That's kind of what we want right there. If you can see that. Anyway, so I'm going to put them in. And this is kind of large, but not terrible. So the tank's prepped for them. I use this bucket here just to catch the scales. It's hard to see in there, but it gets the scales knocked off of it. Whenever a shad gets stressed, it actually expels scales. That's how it gets away from predators sometimes. It's just it's a defense mechanism. So you let them do that in the bucket so the scales don't clog up your filter. That's what I'm told. That's what I do. Waves are working in my favor right at the moment. I just broke my net. It was worth it. All right, so essentially I got it. I got a couple shad in the net. I got them in the bucket. I always try to reset the net every time I bring it out. Make sure all the shad get dropped in the bucket. So I find it oftentimes I'm catching shad 2, 3, 4 at a time, That's the nature of it. Sometimes you get a net full. Sometimes you get a handful. Just take what you get. It's a nice size. I like it when they fit in the palm of my hand. To me, this is the ideal size shad right there. That's an ideal. It's a 4 or 5 inch, something like that. Those are really nice size shad. Nice. Look what I caught. Dipsy divers. I snagged them on the side of my boat. Wouldn't that be cool? Throw your cast net in, pull up 2 dipsy divers. I'll take that over a net of shad. Tackle management. It's not my strength. It's actually a really good throw. Hopefully you guys can see that. But they get stuck. The head goes through the net, but the gills get stuck behind it. So they're essentially stuck in there. The best thing to do there is pull them through the rest of the way. Just kind of take your time. You're going to pull a lot of scales off of it. You're going to injure them. You're going to leave some slime and some scales in the net. But I've actually found they actually survive most of the time. All right, that's what it is. I'll shut the aerator off so you can see past the bubbles. Probably, I don't know, let's see, let me count them real quick. 2, 4, 6, 7. Is there 8 in there? Is that what we caught? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 or 8. So, okay, it's not real impressive for catch. Catch numbers are not real high today. But I need to wrap it up. So that's the simple technique. You guys can use some of that. Take what you can from it. It was tough finding bait balls, and they were there was a lot of smalls. But no excuses. Just an explanation, that's all. Guys, that is an entire tree stump with bushes growing on top of it. We're just gonna release these shad that we caught. We're not gonna fish with them today, but you saw the process. Just rinse and repeat. If you need more, do more. You know, I love it when you guys are talking to me and interacting, so please make sure I know whenever I do a video you like, tell me, and I'll do more of that stuff. It's pretty simple. While you're on my channel, listen to my songs again, tell me what you think. I appreciate your feedback, genuinely, I do. All right, man, I'm out of here. Much love, much respect. See ya. What do you think? Can I still use that? Just like a dip net, maybe? Just scoop it like that.